All right, get ready to be miserable. This is the section of the debate on healthcare, and you're going to want to stab your eye with a fork.
We have 180 million people out there that have great private health care, far more than we're talking about with Obamacare. Joe Biden is going to terminate all of those policies. These are people that love their health care, people that have been successful, middle-income people, been successful. They have 180 million plans, 180 million people, families. Under what he wants to do, which will basically be socialized medicine, he won't even have a choice. They want to terminate 180 million plans. We have done an incredible job on health care, and we're going to do even better.
Okay, Vice President Biden, yes, this is for you. Your health care plan calls for building on Obamacare. So my question is, what is your plan if the law is ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
What I'm going to do is pass Obamacare with a public option. It'll become Biden care. The public option is an option that says that if you, in fact, do not have the wherewithal if you qualify for Medicaid and you do not have the wherewithal in your state to get Medicaid, you automatically are enrolled, providing competition for insurance companies. That's what's going to happen. Secondly, we're going to make sure we reduce the premiums and reduce drug prices by making sure that there's competition that doesn't exist now by allowing the Medicare to negotiate drug prices with the insurance companies. Thirdly, the idea that I want to eliminate private insurance, the reason why I had such a fight with 20 candidates for the nomination was I support private insurance. That's why not one single person with private insurance would lose their insurance under my plan, nor did they under Obamacare. They did not lose their insurance unless they chose they wanted to go to something else. Lastly, we're going to make sure we're in a situation that we actually protect pre-existing. There's no way he can protect pre-existing conditions. None, zero. You can't do it in the ether. He's been talking about this for a long time. He's never come up with a plan. I guess we're going to get the pre-existing condition plan the same time we get the infrastructure plan that we've been waiting since 17, 18, 19, and 20. The fact, I still have a few more minutes. I know you're getting anxious. The fact is that he's already cost the American people, because of his terrible handling of the COVID virus and the economic spillover, 10 million people have lost their private insurance. And he wants to take away 22 million more people who have it under Obamacare, and over 110 million people with pre-existing conditions, and all the people from COVID are going to have pre-existing conditions. What are they going to do?
I have a follow-up for you, Vice President Biden. It relates to something that President Trump said. He's accusing you of wanting socialized medicine. What do you say to people who have concerns that your health care plan, which includes a government insurance option, takes the country one step closer to a health care system run entirely by the government? What's your response to
it's
them?
ridiculous. It's like saying that, we're the idea that the fact that there's a public option that people can choose, that makes it a socialist plan. Look, the difference between the president, I think health care is not a privilege, it's a right.
He said it right there. He said it right there. Oh, I believe it's a right, healthcare. If you believe it's a right, you need to be in favor of single-payer Medicare for all. There's no way around it, and he's not in favor of it. The question was horrendous, by the way. The moderator framed it from a right-wing perspective. What do you say to people who have concerns that this is one step closer to government health care? The question should have been, 70% of the country wants Medicare for all. They want socialized medicine, single-payer health care. So what do you say to them that both of you guys on stage are running away from this at 1,000 miles an hour during a damn pandemic? During a healthcare crisis, you're actively running away from the solution. That's how this should be framed. Instead, it was framed from a right-wing perspective. Framed as if the 30% of the country that's against Medicare for all is obviously correct. Like, what? That got under my skin a lot. So Trump says, hey, 180 million people with great private health care. They love their private health care. Nobody loves their private health insurance. Nobody loves their private health insurance. Health insurance is a unnecessary mafia middleman, rapacious price gouger. That's whole existence is to be a parasite in between you and your doctor and take their cut and tell you who you can and cannot see, what doctors you can and cannot see, and what they will and will not cover. The whole point is to be an unnecessary middleman that takes money from you. Who loves that? When you poll people on this question, the second you tell people, hey, you could pick whatever doctor you want with Medicare for all, they want Medicare for all. They don't want an unnecessary middleman. People talk about, you're going to lose freedom of choice. You don't have freedom of choice now. I can't go to the doctors I want to go to because my healthcare plan, they're not covered. They're not in network. God, this is so frustrating. So Trump is taking a stand for private health insurance. Wow. Very, bold stand there. See, this is what I mean. They're corrupt and they're owned by the industries. So he thinks this is the duh position. Oh, people love their private healthcare. He wants to take you to socialized medicine. In a world that made sense, Biden would be like, yeah, of course I do. Because 70% of the country's in favor of it. Go ahead. Tell 70% of the country they're wrong, you idiot. Every developed country has this kind of a system, and they're kicking our ass in everything related to healthcare. It covers everybody, you have better health outcomes, and it saves $5 trillion over a decade. There's no downside, it is only upsides. We have 45,000 people dying every year in this country right now because they don't have healthcare. And then Biden walks right into the trap. Quote, the reason why I had such a fight in the primary is because I support private insurance. No, actually, people picked you because they thought you will be the best option to defeat Trump. They went with you because they thought you were safe. That's why they picked you. They overlooked the fact that they disagree with you on healthcare, because again, 70% of the country is for Medicare for all. That's Bernie Sanders' position. They agreed with him on virtually every policy issue according to the polling, but they settled for you because they thought, hey, we think maybe you're the only one who can beat Trump. Totally misinterpreting the entire primary, and this drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. Now, listen, he goes on to say things that are correct. He says, listen, I'm for protecting pre-existing conditions. You say you're for it, but you're doing a lawsuit to strike down all of Obamacare, which would strike down pre-existing conditions protections. So I don't know what you're talking about. By the way, Trump did propose a healthcare plan years ago and had like a 13% or 17% approval rating because it was terrible. It was abysmal. It was an even bigger giveaway to the for-profit health insurance companies. So Biden goes on to make some accurate points. He also goes on to say, you didn't see it in this clip, but he goes on to talk about the 20 million people who've lost health insurance since Trump has been in office, which is a devastating data point. You are an abysmal failure on the issue of healthcare because people are hemorrhaging and losing their insurance as your president. So Biden's correct about that stuff. But listen, I can't get over the fact that in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of a healthcare crisis, 45,000 people dying every year from no healthcare, medical bills a top cause of bankruptcy, you have both candidates on stage running a million miles away from the more popular position. It's grotesque. Stop giving in to the right-wing framing when the right-wing framing is dead wrong. But the fact of the matter is, both Joe Biden and Donald Trump represent the for-profit health insurance companies, represent Big Pharma, represent various industries, Wall Street, military-industrial complex. And so that's why the Overton window is so far right and so corporatist, is because you can't rock the boat too much. God forbid you let some asshole executives on their third yacht, you let them know, hey, we're not going to let you price gouge the American people anymore, and we're going to make sure everybody has health care. Can't do that. Got to do tweaks around the edges. Got to inch in the right direction. This was probably the most annoying part of the debate because it's just so out of lockstep with what the American people want and what we absolutely need as a country.